is Stephanie Michelle Scott. This is Monica. I don't know why I had to say my own name. I'm Monica. Hi. Monica Humbert. For this session, what we're going to do is the first half of it is basically going to be introducing the concept of Twitter and introducing all of the terminology that you need to know when you're using Twitter. Then we're going to open it up and make it a little bit interactive, and we're going to have you create some tweets using what you've learned. So we'll be looking for volunteers in the second part. Okay, and if I interrupt my very dear friend Monica, it's just because
totally
it's a very, very short timeline of only a half an hour to do it. So, how do we want to do with questions?
After, if that's okay. If you can hold questions till after, that'd be awesome. Unless it's like so pressing, you're like, I won't understand anything. If you don't stop right now, then yes, then monkey sound. You know, fine. All right, so. We're going to do a really brief one of this to make it fast. So my name is Monica and I work in social media. I have a background in film as well. I used to be a performer and I worked in other capacities as well. I write a blog, which is kind of a humorous blog. I went to computer camp when I was a kid, which I think explains everything. And I'm addicted to the show Intervention. Yeah, little tidbits about you.
I started as a biologist and ran into the film industry in our lovely North, Hollywood North, working on major productions, big, large ones. But the thing that you really need to know about me is that my greatest love is coffee. Important stuff to know here.
And the reason we're telling you all this is because this kind of allows you to get a little more knowledge than if we said, hey, I'm Monica and I'm a marketer, which I think would just put you immediately to sleep and make you run away. This way you have a little bit of an idea of what I do in my spare time, worrisome as it might be, and you know, what I'm really about. And I think that's really the key aspect of Twitter and social media in general, is that it gives you a bit of a little inner life, a little view into people. So, you know, people blog for, you know, different reasons, but a lot of times you get to know people as a blogger, as a Twitter or anything, and you connect with them, and you kind of establish that they're real people, and that makes you more inclined to continue to connect with them and establish these relationships that surpass the online world. So we're going to talk about basic terminology. So, tweet, retweet, add, the hashtag, DM, direct message, following the list. And Steph has a really great way of conveying that, so she's going to tell you that, and then I'll just go over it.
Okay, here's the super fast version of it. When you're on Twitter, you're having a conversation with somebody. We are now having a conversation together. And those of you that hear what I'm saying, if you hear what I'm saying, put your hand up in the air. You are following my conversation. Okay, so that's an important one. Now, let's say that I would like to have information about something simple. Those of you out there that are born between January and June, that's when your birthday is, I'd like you to put your hand up, please. Awesome. On Twitter we do something called a hashtag. A hashtag groups ideas together. I'm going to call all of you, thank you, I'm going to call all of you hashtag birthdays up till June. That's a little bit long, but anyway, to June hashtag. Now, could I have your volunteering, please? If you could tell me that exact date.
March 26th.
Who here heard that date? Put your hand up. I'm surprised that it's everybody, but okay. Can you give me something a little bit more secret? Then I want you to say it, and I want you to say it in a normal tone. Give me the date of, do you have children? Puppies? Puppies. You know puppies.
I have a niece I adore.
Okay, the name of your niece, but just say it in normal tone. Okay, did anyone hear that? One more time? Okay.
Wait.
What? Okay, you got one. That's excellent. So, this would be an example. This would be an example of a conversation that was happening. Now, I would like you, what was your name, sir? Steve. Would you mind telling Steve the name one more
other people maybe hear. Steve, my niece's name is Soji.
Okay, now I want to know by hands how many people heard that name. Excellent. What happened here is that we actually mentioned Steve by his name. And that's what Twitter does. We actually use an @ when we're talking to someone specifically. And the thing that makes it interesting is that when you do that on Twitter, more people pay attention. Something to note. Now, moving on to one other concept. If you wouldn't mind whispering your very favorite flavor of ice cream to this lovely lady right here. Now, who heard that one? Put your hand up in the air. You heard what was said there? Yeah. Okay.
It's not like Sonic.
Yeah.
That is called a direct message. Usually, this would be an example of when you put a conversation out, but it's going directly to someone else and nobody else can hear it. It's like a secret whisper that happens, and that's an example of what a direct message is. The last concept that I want to bring to your attention right now is something called an RT. Has anyone seen this on Twitter before? Excellent. Okay. Now, you know the name, the flavor, and you know the flavor. If I could have you please state to everyone what the flavor was. Chocolate. Did everybody hear that? If you heard what the flavor was, please put your hand up. What was your name? Aftab. Aftab? Aftab has officially retweeted that message. Now, when you retweet a message, more individuals can hear, because anybody who was following this conversation was able to hear that original tweet. It's a way of propagating the message. Now, let's see, one should I give them a complicated? Are you guys okay for like a level 2 complicated concept in Twitter? Yes. Everyone?
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, what we do, this is a fantastic tool. On Twitter, you have something called a list. And this is when what we will do is we group people together. Now let's say that who here, maybe they have a dog for a pet? Do you have a dog for a pet, anyone? Okay. How about a cat for a pet? How like a pet-hating group here? Not really. How about areas of town? Somebody who lives in the downtown area. Okay, great. What we've done is I'm going to create a list with all of your names on it, knowing that you are from the downtown area. This means that when I want to follow conversations from people in the downtown area, I will go to my list with these individuals on it. It's another way where on Twitter, we can organize individual pieces of communication or organize tweets, as the terminology would state. You've just moved into advanced Twitter. That's pretty cool for the first couple of minutes, hey? Now, I just want to let you know, all of that's fine and dandy, but when we come down to the actual computer screen itself, the hardest part, anything on social media, anything at all, is the navigation of the computer screen itself. And Monica's going to come up here and show you through our slides a little bit about that navigation, now that you understand the basic concepts of Twitter.
Let's make sure we remember to go to the navigation. So I'm not sure how many slides we have on that, but towards the last minute or two.
Okay.
We'll kind of click around maybe, if we can, well, we'll figure it out. Basically, there's a few platforms you can use too, so that kind of gets the navigation interesting too. We're going to go over some of the concepts that you mentioned just to make sure you're clear, and we're going to talk a little bit about the limitations of Twitter in terms of the content. So, a tweet is 140 characters only, so you only have that much room to say your message. And it's particularly important because that has to include all these components that you're going to put in, which is who you're directing the message to. Vanna? Who you're directing the message to. If they have a long name, that doesn't help you. Because you're going down in characters. Also, when you create your own username, keep that in mind. The shorter you can make it, the better. If you have a super long name like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, Arnie might be better, except for him. Just make sure to be as succinct as well in content. I'm not one to really abbreviate with codes or text messaging things because I just don't like the way it looks. But as much as possible, if you can find ways of making your message succinct, that helps. So, usernames. So, as much as you can, find a username that makes sense. In this case, there's a clothing store. The clothing store's name is Vincent Park, and they were able to actually get Vincent Park. That helps. So, username always begins with that @ You always put that in when you're talking to somebody. When you're direct messaging them, it's a bit different, and we'll talk about that in a sec. So a tweet, this is just an example so you know what it looks like if you haven't really explored Twitter very much. So this is Vincent Park, they're the ones tweeting, so you can see that this is their message. And it's a message, and in this case they put a link. Now again, that's something you need to put into the 140 characters if you want to show a picture, if you want to direct somebody to a blog post, any of these things that link, all those letters have to fit in. And there are tools to help you with that because there's little URL shorteners. So they'll make your links smaller, but you have to remember to at least allot, like 8 or 9 characters if you want to actually plug something.